Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome to Gaming Comments episode 21. Today, I'm talking about one of my favorite game franchises, that being Fable. Now, Fable is one of those games, it's hard to really describe why someone likes this game. It's a great game, but it's more than the sum of its parts. You can look at the gameplay, visuals, you can look at anything at the game individually, and it's not all that impressive, but it's the combination of everything that's put together that makes a great game. Now, if you watched one of my previous episodes, I mentioned that I never actually beat the original Fable. That's because I started with Fable 2. One of my friends lended the game to me, and I ended up beating it and loving it. I actually bought the game afterwards, after I returned the game, and I played through that multiple times. And that's rare for me. I don't tend to play games multiple times. And it just had me. I went back and tried playing the original Fable, and I just couldn't get into it. The whole button scheme where you had to press multiple buttons to do an action just didn't work for me. I got, I'd say maybe 5 hours into the game, and really, I I couldn't keep going on. But I went on, got Fable 3, played the hell out of that, and Fable the Journey came along, and that was basically unplayable. Just for the simple fact that it was a Kinect game that required so much precision that Kinect just didn't have the capability of doing. I would have loved to see how that whole story panned out, because I was really into it. It's just that it was requiring that level of precision that just wasn't possible. I'm hoping that, who knows, maybe with new Kinect they'll re-release it on the Xbox One and allow it to have that precision, or even downplay that precision and use maybe some sort of, I don't know, maybe an auto target feature where if that precision just isn't there. I don't know if that'll ever get done. The story was great from what I was playing. Like I said, if you can't kill the enemies because it's firing somewhere else, that's a problem. But let's move on to the actual game. Now, Fable 1 was released on the original Xbox, and it later went on to have, I don't know if it's really called DLC at that point, but it had an expansion called The Lost Chapters. And in the new Fable Anniversary, that's all contained in here. But since I haven't actually played this game yet, I can't tell you if there's any real changes other than basically the controls. I know you have the option of playing with Fable 2 controls, which I'm really looking forward to, and the visuals are extremely updated. Now, my personal favorite game of the whole series, obviously being Fable 2, that came with a couple DLC packs, which were Not Whole Island and See the Future, and then along came Fable 3. Of course, these two were on the Xbox 360, and that Fable 3 also came with a couple DLC packs, being Understone and Trader's Keep. As well, they also released a whole bunch of mini downloadable titles, Fable 2 pub games, which you could actually add money to your Fable 2 game, which really wasn't necessary. If you went out and really attacked the whole real estate market, you didn't really need that money from that game. And There was Fable Coin Golf that also connected to Fable 3, but that was strictly a Windows 7 phone game, which I never got to play. And the other game was what? Fable Heroes, which I played. I loved it. You actually play as one of the hero dolls from the game, and that actually connected to Fable 3, and you could actually get new characters if you end up being Journey, or even playing Journey to unlock the character as well. Now, like I said, the game is more than the sum of its parts. The whole world of Albion is what really is the highlight of the game. Even though they focus on the whole aspect of good and evil, you can do good things, you can do bad things, but it wasn't that difficult, at least for me, to switch from good to evil back and forth within the same playthrough. And so that kind of lost kind of that aspect for me. You didn't have to be good, you didn't have to be evil. You could just switch at any time. So it wasn't like one playthrough is good, one playthrough is evil. No, just go right at it and switch back and forth and you're gonna eventually get everything pretty well. But the world of Albion, like I said, is what makes this game. The insane British humor of the NPCs within the game makes it a lot of fun to me. Now, beyond that, I don't really know what to say about Fable. It's hard to describe. Like, the story itself, you just went out and played the story. Like a lot of other games. You just went out and played the story. You're not really getting much from the game. The side quests that leads you deeper within the mythos of the game is what kind of gets you in the whole feeling of that game. You just play it straight, you could probably beat that game within a few hours. And you really wouldn't get anything from the game. So, if you haven't played any of the games from the series, I highly suggest you play it. But, do some of the side quests. Now, one thing that I don't like that Fable tends to do, at least they did with Fable 2 and 3, is they released a special edition with special DLC. But you're not able to get that any other way. And that's one thing, if you watch my DLC episode, I don't like that. I don't like not being able to get everything. Not having that option, at least. And it really didn't make much sense because the whole Not Whole Island DLC gave you items, which was from Halo, which was part of the limited edition DLC. So you're able to get Halo items from Not Whole Island, but you couldn't get the rest of the costume, and I believe it came with the sword as well. So it kind of offset. Ooh, look, I've got a Halo gun, but I don't have the sword or the costume, so what the hell was the point? I don't know why they didn't say, okay, here, a year or so after the release, you can now download it for $5 or whatever. You didn't even have to charge it for it, but obviously that's never going to change. I really wish people would actually allow that full game to be playable. But I've already talked about that. I'll end it now. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter @GamingComments. Next week, unless something big happens I want to comment about, I think I'm going to go talk about another game, being Kinect Sports. So, until then, bye.